This is Brenda Starr with Buzz TV Hollywood. I'm here at Unfriendly Studios in Los Angeles with my very special guest, Conrado Pesinato. Am I saying that correctly?
Yes, that's good. Pesinato.
You want to say it for us?
No, that was good. Conrado Pesinato. Yeah.
Okay, all right. And does anyone ever call you Conrad? Because it's Conrad with an O, right? Conrado.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, Conrad works. I mean, even my mom back then as a nickname used to just for fun. So, Conrado, both work.
All right. Any other nicknames you want to share with us?
No, thanks.
Somehow I thought so. All right. Well, welcome. We just heard you play a couple of songs that our viewers are going to be able to hear. So really, really great. Do you want to tell us about the songs that you played?
Yeah. One song's called Seven Deadly Sins. And it's an instrumental track I wrote about 5 years ago, maybe. And I keep meaning to put like a solo record out, but I just get busy with the other stuff I'm doing and keep postponing that. But that track eventually is going to come out. And the other one I was just jamming on top of some riffs, and but it was fun anyway.
Yeah, it's nice. Well, yeah, you're very busy with the Bonnet Band now.
Yeah, that's my main gig right now. It's my band, and we're actually getting ready to go on tour. In February, we hit UK, and then in April we go to Australia. Then we go back to Europe in April. Then we go back here. Then I think we do Sweden in June. We're playing Sweden Rock with Queen, Megadeth, and a bunch of other badass bands. And then I think we might have some shows in the States, but I actually don't remember all the shows right now. But we're playing Italy too in April in the Frontiers Records Festival, because we actually got signed with Frontiers Records. So that's in April. I think that's about it, what I can remember.
Yeah.
We're actually working on a record too, so that's kind of taking all the time, just getting ready for tour and just trying to put a record together.
Yeah, well, that's fantastic. Yeah, I know one show you're going to be doing, NAMM. You're going to be doing, the 22nd. I probably know more about this than you. It's at NAMM Friday. It's going to be at Malone's. It's a House of Metal show. And so at that show, what songs can we expect to hear?
We're going to play some new stuff, but we're going to pretty much try to cover like Graham's whole catalog from his first solo record, which is more kind of, country folky, but we're going to play one or two songs from that. And up to everything like, I don't know, Rainbow, then after Michael Schenker Group, then Alcatraz from the Steve Vai time, from the Evening Time, from the third record. And we might do some Imperi Tally too. We might just, everything that Graham ever did, some of his solo record too, line up. And pretty much everything. It's going to be fun. It's a pretty good set list. There's a lot of work getting all those together, but the band's super tight, and we're actually happy and excited about it.
Yeah. How long of a set do you think you'll play?
I don't know. It depends. I mean, I think right now we're talking probably like an hour and a half, maybe a little more than that, probably almost 2 hours. I mean,
that's
interacting with the crowd and all that, but I think definitely shooting for at least 1 hour and a half. So.
Oh, that's awesome. Now, you released a couple of new songs with the Bonnet Band earlier this year.
Yeah, we did. We put an EP, 2 songs EP before we went to Japan, because last year we hit Japan in June. We did like a tour with the Michael Schenker Group, the Temple of Rock. And before that, we put like 2 new songs out. One is called The Mirror Lies, and the other one's called My Kingdom Come, which was written by Russ Ballard, which is the same guy that wrote Since You've Been Gone and SOS and a bunch of other songs that Graham recorded before. And I actually got to produce and engineer that one record, so it's awesome. It was a really nice experience for me. Caught me a little surprised, because I was like, I'd done it before for like some of my projects and stuff, but when you're working with Graham, just playing guitar is already a lot of responsibility. But he's like, hey, why not? I was like, okay, I'll give it a shot. But it was cool. We're all happy with the result. All the feedback's being super positive. And we got Mark Zonder on drums, which he used to be the drummer for Fate's Warning, and he used to be the drummer for Warlord. I think he's still playing Warlord, I don't know. But he used to play in Fate's Warning, and super badass drummer. We got Bethany on bass. We got Graham singing. On one of the tracks, we got Eric Ragno on keyboard. And on the other one, we have Derek Sherinian, who played for Dream Theater and all those other bands and stuff. So we're actually really happy with the...
Wow, that's fantastic lineup. Yeah.
It's awesome.
Now, for the new record, are we looking at the same lineup? And what about, is it going to be new songs, or are you going to re-record any of the old favorites?
We're going to do both. It actually might be like a double record, because we're actually doing like 28 songs probably. So the lineup's going to be the same as far as bass, drums, guitars, and vocals. Keyboards we must have like a couple of different guests and stuff here and there because we don't actually bring a keyboard player in the road just for some shows, and so we don't have like a set keyboard player yet. But we might have some special guests for keyboards for sure. So we're doing basically like 16 re-recordings from Rainbow to Michael Schenker to Alcatraz to Impero Italia and all that, and then we have like 11 or 12 new songs. So it's actually like a double record. So it's a lot of work.
Wow. So when is that? When are you going to start recording that?
We're already working on it as we get ready to go on tour. So we're really busy with it. It's gonna come out hopefully beginning of next year. More like middle, I guess, but we'll see.
And do you get
our best?
do you get to share in any of the songwriting?
Yeah, of the new stuff. Yeah, of course, the new stuff, not the old stuff.
Right.
Yeah, that's written already. Anyway, it's me and Graham have been co-writing most part of the stuff. I mean, Bethany has like an input too, so does Mark. They're all both very musical and great guys to work with. But basically like the way I'm kind of going for and the way we prefer to do it, is just take whatever Graham has and just spice it up a little bit, put a little bit more rock and roll. Because he's a great guitar player too. Everybody talks about him playing with great guitar players, but even him as a guitar player, actually be surprised. And so he comes up with like a lot of ideas and riffs, and we sit down and we just, okay, that's cool, that's not cool, let's make this a little heavier, let's make this a little faster, a little slower, a little more proggy, a little more classic rock, a little more bluesy, and from there. Because as much as like it's a band and we all have input, we know it's about him. That's kind of the idea too at the same time. So I was like, sure, it's a band, but so like the idea is to capture something that he originally wrote it, so he has like a spark about it. Because I can throw riffs at the guy the whole day and just sing something on top of it, but I was like, I really, other just his voice, I really want to capture his lyrics and his vibe and his songwriting, because he's a very eclectic artist. So, I mean, like if you get to know his catalog, there's anything from extremely heavy metal to like disco and folk and country, and it's like everything's there. So I really want to try to capture all those elements. So that's what we're going for.
Yeah. Maybe he learned a lot of guitar, from all those greats that he played with.
Yeah, I'm assuming so. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, he's played with some really epic guitar players. We're talking Richie Blackmore, right? Yngwie Malmsteen, Steve Vai. Am I forgetting anybody? Michael Schenker. Yes, of course.
Impero Italia also.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And even later, guys that he haven't recorded with, like Howie Simon's a great guitar player, and a bunch of other guys too.
So how does it feel to be now in that association of epic guitar players?
Feels good. I mean, at first was, I remember when he invited me to work with him, we had a jam once, and we're like, hey, you're good and all that. And then, when he started doing this thing, they're like, hey, we originally thought about another guy, but that didn't work out. Do you want to come up and see what happens? I was like, hey, sure, if you think
think about that, right?
Like, yeah, okay, if you think I have what it takes, so if you heard me playing, it's like, yeah, I like what you do, I like your style, I like all that. I was like, okay, cool, awesome, I do what I do. I mean, at the beginning, I was a little, remember like the first time I was like playing, he said to me like, hey, why don't you write a solo on this riff? I was like, okay. I was like, every note had a little extra vibrato because I was shaking a little. But he's a very nice guy, a very easy guy to work with, so he makes you feel very natural. It's like, hey man, just don't worry about any of that, just do your thing and you're good, just do your own style, put your own input into it. I don't want you to copy any of those guys or compete or any of that, so just do what you do. So after a while we got really comfortable with each other, but in the beginning, I was like, yeah, okay, is this good enough, but I mean, pressure's always on, because even as far as like audiences go, everybody's like, oh, how's it gonna play that solo? How is it gonna perform that one song? That was Yngwie, that was with Steve. I was like, oh, but how I take it, I just try to be in my A game every time, just do the best I can, and do my own thing, put my own input into it. So
yeah, I don't think you have anything to worry about. You sound beautiful playing. So yeah, very excellent. So let's go back to the past a little bit. I want to know about your first guitar. I want to know when you got it, how old you were, how you got your hands on it, and what inspired you to pick it up and play it.
Right. Yeah, this is it right here. That's my very first guitar. I didn't even have an acoustic before. I learned everything on it, like from all the solos and all the stuff I do right now to Happy Birthday to You back then. So, you know, for me, this is it, really. I have actually its serial number tattooed right here. So
Oh, very
that's
nice.
my baby right there.
Wow.
Anyway, I had a bunch of other guitars before. Like, you know, I had Ibanez's. I mean, like, I'm a huge Steve Vai fan. For me, he's just like up there. And I had a bunch of other different brands, but I was like, you know, they come and go. But this one's the only one that ever stayed. I was, let me see, 13 years old, 14 years old, probably 14, 13 to 14 years old. And I was spending holidays with my dad. Back then, I was like a huge Iron Maiden fan. I mean, I still love Iron Maiden. It's one of my favorite bands all times, probably top 5. And, you know, that's how it started. Like, you know, through Iron Maiden and all that, that was how I kind of started getting my chops, and that was my first influence. And then after that, I started going a little back to the classics, and I became a huge Richie Blackmore fan, which Richie Blackmore for me is just like, I don't think people talk enough about him. They talk a lot about, like, you know, Led Zeppelin and Tommy Iommi and Black Sabbath and, you know, all those guys, but I don't think people talk enough about Richie. I mean, Deep Purple and Richie Blackmore for me is just the
Agreed.
best. And that was it. And then, like, I think one of the only solos, because I've never really been the type of guy to learn solos for note. I mean, I know that works for a lot of guys as far as getting chops and developing vocabulary, but that I never really did it for laziness or whatever. I don't know. But the only few ones that I probably ever did was like some Richie Blackmore stuff, because I actually love his playing. And then, you know, eventually I got into other guys like Steve Vai and Malmsteen too and all those. But Steve and Richie Blackmore for me are the guys that ooh.
Yeah. So I know, and look at where you landed, you know, right?
I know, right? Yeah. For me, it's still like, oh, he wrote that one with Steve Vai. It's like, he wrote this one with Richie Blackmore. It's like, and I'm playing with him now. So yeah, it's pretty cool. I'm definitely super.
So now you were in a guitar contest some years ago, right? For Music Store. And
Sam Ash, yeah. That was before joining Graham's band. Sam Ash had like a guitar contest called Best in Shred or Best Shred or something like that. And that was 2013. And I'm not really super fan of guitar contests because, again, for me, it was just express yourself, do what you do, and, you know, this whole, this guy's better than the other guy. He is faster. He's looking, whatever. Like, I was kind of, whatever. I mean, you know, for me, it was always about express how you feel, and the kind of players that I like are the guys that express how they feel more than the whole, which, you know, it's fun. I have a bunch of respect for a lot of it, too. And, of course, I do that to an extent also. But just the whole guitar contest thing for me was just never quite my thing. But then when I saw that the prize was you get to open for Steve Vai, I was like, all right, I'll give it a shot, see what happens. And I ended up winning. And so I got to support Steve Vai on House of Blues in San Diego. That was a lot of fun.
that's fantastic. So did you get to meet him then, or did you meet him prior to that? Or?
I did. I actually met him once before, because before coming to LA, I used to live in Dublin for 5 years. And I, you know, did part of my living like busking, playing on the streets and stuff. And once I was busking, he came by and just stopped and talked with me for a little bit. Took me a minute to like, oh, Steve Vai's there. You know, what's the odds of you playing on the street and then Steve Vai throws you a coin and like, hey, I like where you play. I was like, whoa, okay. And but that was like a little short conversation we had it. And then after that, that was it. Then I met him on this contest and we talked about it. I told him the busking story. He was happy to hear it. But you know, but back then I didn't play with Graham yet, so I didn't tell him like, "Hey, I'm playing with Graham Bonnet now." No,
Right,
so.
right.
But he was really cool. He was like a very inspiring guy. Again, super humble and great musician. You know, needless to say that.
Yeah, absolutely. I know. Almost got to see him at Ultimate Jam Night. I think you were there. I saw you across the crowd.
Yeah.
Was that you? It was so crowded.
I was there. Yeah, I was there. I was excited to see that one performance. It didn't really happen, but hey. It was a good atmosphere.
Yeah.
And they definitely do some really good music things there. I mean,
Yeah.
I got to perform there once with Graham, Graham and Baphomet, and our old drummer. We played a couple of songs there once. It's a really good thing they're doing for the LA music scene.
It's a lot of fun. John Five, did you catch his performance? That was pretty interesting.
Yeah, that was actually
Yeah.
mind blowing. Yeah, he's a great guitar player. Yeah, that was actually a lot of fun.
So now you live in Hollywood. Do you get out much? Like where do you frequent? And what do you go do for fun? Do you enjoy
Yeah,
any of the
yeah.
nightlife?
Yeah, yeah. I live in Hollywood and Sycamore, precisely. And one of the reasons I moved to Hollywood initially is because like I was always going out in Hollywood, so Then back then I was drinking a little bit, so I was like, hey, drinking and driving is never a good idea, so live close to your bars. And but as I was going to Loaded, I love Loaded. I mean, I used to be in a band called The Drama. We still play here and there. We might play a gig soon. And we used to have a residency at Loaded, so I was at Loaded a lot of times.
Were you loaded at Loaded?
Yeah, I was loaded at Loaded. Yeah, that happened a couple times. But hey, I've been off the sauce for 2 years now, so. And of course, the classic spots like Rainbow, Whiskey, the Key Club. I played there a couple times when they were still open, and it was incredible. I mean, the Cat Club. I think I played the very last gig at the Cat Club. That's kind of, they closed after that. They're like, no, you guys letting guys like this play. You're down. Well.
Wow, awesome. All right. Well, before we let you go, is there anything else that you want to let anybody who's watching know?
Yeah, just check us out on Facebook, the Grand Bonnet Band. We'll have a new record coming out. We'll have a video clip coming out soon too for the song Demuralize. And if you're coming to NAMM, just the 23rd.
Well, the 22nd, you're
22nd, we're performing. Yeah, if you're coming to NAMM, Friday night, the 22nd, that's going to be a great fun night. We have a lot of other good bands playing the night. Made in America is a really good band. The other bands too, they're really good. Not super familiar with the other materials, but I heard some of the stuff was cool. And that's about it. And if you don't live in LA or you're not coming to NAMM, then if you live in Europe, we're going to UK. If you live in Australia, we're going to Australia. And yeah, that's it.
Very, very good. And at NAMM, you're also going to be at a booth. Tell us quickly, in case anyone is going to be at NAMM, right? Don't you have a sponsorship there?
Yeah, exactly. I always like work and demonstrate for Santo Angelo Cables. They make these very nice cables here, as much as you can demonstrate a cable. And but actually, this one's fun. Yeah, you can't pull and push it, but my guitar is off. I forgot about that. Anyway, but they're really good cables, so I'm gonna be there, like demonstrating and jamming some tracks and just talking to people. Come and say hi.
Great. Well, sounds good. Well, thanks so much for coming. It's been great. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.